to the real world. I can show you the ropes.
And then?
And you'll in a world of legendary moments will be captured. So stand up, scream, and make sure the boys feel you.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil, and today we're going to discuss, it's a little bit late, but we're going to discuss, of course, the Dallas Cowboys' victory over the New York Giants. And one victory I do have is, of course, having Gametime Bryan in the house. What's going on, Bryan? How are you doing, man, with this busy week?
I'm doing okay, man. I am. I was not up for it last night. I was late. I literally didn't get home until right before 8 o'clock, and that's delivering mail. It was friggin' dark. It's like 4:45. So, and Phil is that way tonight. So we're gonna get through it.
Yes.
The good thing is, Phil, we have a win to talk about. The trolls will probably stay away, but they're welcome.
When we have a good week. When we have a good victory or anything like that, our numbers are down. We definitely feel the hit. But again, when we're tired, it's something nice to talk about. And I kind of want to go through the roster and really kind of break down. And obviously, as we talk about it, you're going to get people coming in here going, it's only the Giants. And it's just like you beat the team that was in front of you. You got what we were talking about of trying to get people some playing time that haven't been on the field in a while. Just getting people to gel together. I think that's what you're getting ready for in the sense of pushing for that second half. How ready are you for the playoffs? How ready are your players for the playoffs? And definitely how ready are your coaches? So good victory. Again, we take it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, man, it was an impressive win, and you got some people involved. So before we start to go through the roster, I wanted to bring a shout out to the people that are in the chat. Of course, we had JoJo, Stacy from Roland's Review, Jeff Lee, Crystal Caramel Corn, Brad Harris is in the house. Of course, Gametime. Oh, there you are, Gametime. And then Lord Nova.
Hi.
Yeah, what a good. We didn't know exactly how well it was going to be received on a Tuesday, and especially not after like a Monday night type of thing. But I appreciate everybody coming in, man, and I'm ready to talk about this victory because I've been able to at least replay the game. Have you seen it a second time, or are you just going off the first?
I have not re-seen it. Well, what I did do, I don't know if you've done this yet. If you have the NFL ticket,
condensed,
you could watch the best plays or the highlighted plays. So there's like 37 or 43. And it'll just go one after another, all the scoring plays. So, on both sides, even though there wasn't much for the other sides. Poor Giants, my lord.
When I look at it, I actually have to give credit.
Sorry,
the first drive where we get to the goal line, and I know if we look back at the broadcast, you can hear me complain about, what is this? We need to figure out this. We need to run the ball more and everything, and then. When I look back at the goal line stance that was done, I mean, 3 of the 4 plays were running plays, and then that one you can understand that where you talked about if he keeps the ball instead of pitching it over to CeeDee Lamb as he's going across, he's in there for a touchdown.
It's wide open.
So there's times, but I got to give him credit on that play calling. When I look back at in general the play calling that was done. You can tell that, Dak has more command of this offense, and it's happened since the bye week. Go ahead. Yes, exactly.
Well, no, I don't know if you saw my live.
Yes, I did. I did. So that's why I wanted to bring it around. I want you to bring it up.
Then.
Yeah, go ahead. I want you to bring it up. That's why I swung it around.
You know where I'm going. This is a totally different offense than what they ran going into the bye week. Literally. Phil, me and you both talked about it. What didn't they do? They did not stretch the field at all prior to that. CeeDee Lamb was not getting the ball. Everything was just these little short cuts, little slants.
Yeah.
Nothing too risky. We don't want Dak to have his interception problem again. Overcorrected, like we talked about, like I talked about. in my opinion. But yeah, CeeDee Lamb, he wanted to talk to Dak. They went in a room. They came up with this, and McCarthy was smart enough to alter what he was doing, and now you see a way better version of what they need to be doing, in my opinion. I mean, obviously the numbers bear it out. Even with the loss against Philly, Dak threw for what, 347?
Yeah.
Now I understand everybody's throwing a lot, and I'm not trying to jab you. I don't see many Philly fans in here, but I'm not trying to jab you guys. But your defense isn't great. I'm sorry. Your run defense is good, so I guess in a close game, that could help you. But yeah, your defense ain't good. But regardless, we're starting to roll now, Phil. We're starting to roll.
Yeah, when you look at Dak Prescott, because that's who I want to start with in the beginning, because really this offense is going, and yeah, I'm going to say this, and you're probably going to throw up in your mouth a little bit, but Dak is the MVP of this team right now, okay? I don't mean the league. I don't mean anything. Of this team. This offense doesn't run the way that it's going if he doesn't move his feet, if he doesn't make these decisions, if he doesn't make these audible, if he doesn't go, here we go, because Cooper Rush out there,
I like that.
Cooper Rush out there, it just did not sound the same. So when I look at Dak, I actually got to look back, and what's amazing is out of the past 24 games that Dak has been a part of, and not the injuries, and he's been gone, half of those, 12 of those, have been 40-plus point games. So, whether the level of competition has been amazing or not, and they love to throw the fact that he hasn't beat anybody that's a playoff team. What year? Like, last year's playoff team was the New York Giants. Now they're not a playoff team. So I get it. But it's moving the goalposts. It's each time the stats don't really matter. All I know is that he's beating NFL teams, and he's doing it at an elite level. There are some, of course, decisions that he makes that you're just like, what is going on? But that's every quarterback in the league. And just the body of work that he's having, he's using his legs more. I love the fact that Dak is amazing at going against the zone. He's one of the top quarterbacks when going against the zone. But when you look at his stats, he's officially the top going against man coverage this year as well. So what do you choose? Do you choose just to stand on the sideline and go, well, hopefully he just makes a mistake by himself? I don't know what your strategy is against him.
Yeah. I love Dak. Again, if you saw my live.
I don't know. Do you ever talk about Dak? I never hear it.
I love Dak. I just wish that even my Cowboys fans would let's just stop it with the Dak MVP. It's just early, man.
It is.
All right.
I want to see him in the later stretch.
If you're going to be the MVP, you got to start out by winning your division. Right now, we're 2 full games behind our division. So let's win our division. You want to be MVP? Go win, 7 out of your last 8 games.
Yeah, that's where I want to.
Or 8 or whatever. How many do we got left? We have 8 games left. So go 7-1. Yeah. Go 7. Anything less than that, you're not winning the division. So,
I think the body of work the rest of this year definitely says a lot. Because if he goes 7-1 and just blows it in the playoff, that don't mean anything, Well,
that's another thing. Yeah. Why are we worried about MVP?
Yeah.
Because just imagine, people. God forbid.
It's true that, David Cowboy.
For his contract, for him to get MVP, that's wonderful, Dak. I hope you get it. But what if he gets MVP and then we choke in the first round, or then it's like, that's even like a bigger joke. So let's just slow it down, please.
I would definitely agree. I would definitely agree. Dak
is MVP he's MVP of the team right now. Well, I would argue CD, or Deron Bryan, but he's up there. He's having a hell of a run. What up, Jeff Lee? Work was work, man. From here until the end of Christmas, it's going to be fun. At least, election season is rough because I get all that the political mail, and I get it every day, multiple sets for the whole route. So that's gone. But now the packages have started, and I deliver to a nicer area. And, of course, the more money you got, the more you're buying stuff, so it's going well.
So I want to.
But I was gonna say
Dak thing. We kind of know where we're at with him. let's move on to the running back position, because this is something I definitely want to talk
Philly
about.
D, man? How you doing?
You got Tony Pollard doing his thing. Not crazy numbers, but again, they're not utilizing him correctly. So I can't really hold Tony Pollard accountable for a lot of the stuff that he's doing, because you run him up the middle, but when you've been starting to run him off to the sides, you've seen a lot more success in there. And then, of course, the sprinkle of Rico Dowdle. I love that combination.
Rico.
But at what point does Rico hold up? I mean, people are harping to try to get him into the starting lineup and maybe Pollard as the complementary thing. I just question Rico's durability to be able to withstand taking that kind of workload. I really like this 1-2 combo, though.
Yeah, but I think he's bigger than Pollard.
Oh, he is. He is, but more injury prone, too. Got that hip problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think you're going to see... Well, I think they'll address that in the draft as well, but...
I agree.
I think you're going to see Rico and the Pollard split with a smattering. I mean, I still expect Lepke to get involved at some point. I don't know who else, but it'll be more of a 50-50 type thing. Pollard is just not the same guy right now, and I don't ever want to see him. I don't want to see him run more than 1 or 2 times up the A gap. Just let him run to the sideline, find a hole, and cut it up the field. What up, David Cowboy? If must run up the middle, use Rico. Exactly.
Rico
and
on
goal line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Lepke. I wish he's on the active roster, people. Maybe he runs high for them. I mean, I don't know. So does Derrick Henry. I'm not comparing him to Derrick Henry, but he kind of reminds me of just how tall he is.
Joshua Cribbs also. Whenever you saw him, he was,
yeah.
But I mean, Rico gets down a little bit. But
what up, man?
But no, I totally get it. I would like that third running back to be in the mix. I mean, you saw some Deuce Vaughn, but I don't know. It just seems like
not enough.
It doesn't.
You saw some of the moves in the open field.
Yeah, we just need to get him in open field. I don't know, man. I'm not the coach, and so it's just.
I really think McCarthy's he's at this. I know what I'm doing until he sees a team shut him down. Then it takes people to get in his ear to change it up a little bit. A little slow to change up a little bit. I mean, like it took us to the bye week for them to come up to what we're seeing now, and I like what we're seeing now. We're going to be coming up against some tests now. The way Washington plays defense and stuff, they're not going to be giving up the big play, or at least they're not going to try and give up the big play. Yeah, this week we go up against Brian Burns. So I expect to win the game, obviously. I believe we're a 10-point favorite, I believe.
Yeah, 11.
Right now.
11.
I'm looking at 10.5 across the board, so we meet in the middle. Road favorite, so I expect to win, but, it'll be curious to see how this offense does on the road. Let's see. I mean, like we saw it in Philly. It wasn't like it was this past week. Let's face it. But
so
we'll
when
see. There's a lot of games left to come, and we will see. Exactly. But we could break in some of the numbers, man.
Well, yeah, I also want to move down. I just wanted to move down each position as you bring in those numbers.
Yeah.
When the tight end,
he threw for what? 404?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, it was like 404. I mean, 600
26
or something.
for 35, 404 yards, 4 TDs, and an INT. The INT, that was a bad one, but
that was straight up him.
Yeah, that's a good ratio. I'll take it. So
yeah, I mean, when you look at that interception, I mean, the guy was coming in looking like showing that he was about to. He's sorry. I get my brother's texting me and stuff.
I got it. Yeah, well, and Brad Harris says you feed Cooks more.
I like that.
It's funny you say that, Brad, because that's what we've said. If you feed Cooks more, okay, the smart minds understand this, and I called that he would have a bigger game. He was open last week, all right, and don't think for 1 minute that they didn't look at the film and saw that he was open and said, okay, we need to make a concerted effort to get him the ball. And what happened? Did it take away from CD? Hell no, It didn't.
It complimented him.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you sprinkle in the fact that the tight end, Jake Ferguson doing his Jake Ferguson thing. There was a moment. So here's, it's Luke. He gets an opportunity here and there. It's a 50-50, I feel, with him. Whether he's open or whether he's covered, it just feels really 50-50 kind of with Luke, just that he's going to bring it in. And, McKeon, you saw a little bit of him. So that's what I liked about this game, is that you walked away very healthy, but also everybody was getting some playing time. And I think with the healthy, we gotta jump to a guy that we, as we're doing all this, I want to talk offensive line and everything, but I got to bring it up. And you said it too. I think LVE being out for the rest of the season. Mm-hmm. This is something not surprising with the neck injury. I'm just kind of surprised that it's taken this long to kind of address it.
Well, I guess they gave it every opportunity. This might be it for LVE. I don't know what the doctors are telling him. Jerry's not going to come out now. They're going to give all deference to the doctors and to LVE himself, because he'll probably have a decision to make. Well, this is the odds. I mean, this is not the first time. You can't risk not being able to walk. He's a young he's a young man. He would live the rest of his life fine if he never played football, and I believe he made enough money to be able to live that life.
Exactly.
So I just hope he makes the right decision. I don't know what that decision is. But now, you remember, he was born with spinal stenosis, so it's not something that happened because of football. Football is just a thing that doesn't work well if you have spinal stenosis. So, and they put him on season-ending IR, as well as CJ Goodwin. I believe it was a knee, but I don't know. Help me out, Chad, if I'm wrong. I didn't get a chance to research that, but I think this is more of a situation of he's still not ready, and will he be ready? Possibly, but our special teams is more than good. A lot of these guys have stepped up, Phil, that they didn't know how they were going to do on special teams.
So as
just like the new guy, Rashad Evans, he's playing special teams. So,
Yeah, as you bring up CJ Goodwin, another guy that we thought in the offseason that might take CJ Goodwin's place was Kelvin Joseph. And of course, Kelvin Joseph gets traded to the Miami for Noah Igbenogany. And now you see today that it looks like Kelvin Joseph has been released.
Really?
From the Dolphins. Yeah, so he actually got released today. So wow. weren't really surprised there.
You might have to hit that rap career. You got a lot to sing about. You got a lot to rap about now.
I did hear a couple of those jokes being thrown around in the Twitter sphere. Yeah, so it's funny that you mentioned that. And of course, things that just not surprising with some of these roster moves. But one thing for roster moves that I've been wanting and harping about is offensive line help. And as we watch this offensive line play, again, not an all-pro defensive line or anything, but they're not chumps either. Dexter Lawrence in the middle. You got, of course, God, I can't think of his name right now. Their pass rusher, number 5.
Oh, yeah, Thibodeau, yeah. Thibodeau. Your Oregon guy. It's
I know,
duck.
And I always forget him.
Duck. Come on, man.
So, yeah, when you look at that in this offensive line, I mean, they held up very, very well. The scheme was there, and you even got to see some of the backups come in as well. And there was some attitude in that second team because they're getting some playing time. I saw Hoffman. Oh, did you? The documentary, is that what it was?
Yeah. I was up at 5:30 because I fell asleep so early last night. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I can't stop doing them. Yeah, I'm not doing it right on camera. I just got to do it. And now look, dude, he's a mess. But anyway, sorry. I'm sorry. The fact that we almost drafted him too.
No, man. Jerry. Luckily, he was able to be stopped.
I love you though. Like if you're watching, Johnny, you're always welcome on the show.
Okay, so anyway, offensive line play. How did you feel that the offensive line played?
I thought it played really well.
Yeah, I mean, this whole
no sacks.
Yeah, this whole practice with Tyron Smith. I mean, that's definitely feeling that it's getting somewhere there. Whether now
he had a clean pocket. for the most part. I mean, this isn't the NFL, Phil, but he had a clean pocket for the most part. To throw the ball, and you see what can happen. I mean, everything was.
Dude, Brad, mine's on Monday of next week. So happy early birthday, Brad Harris.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is tomorrow. So
happy birthday, Brad. I'll sing you a ditty tomorrow on my lunchtime chat. Nah, I ain't singing. But David Cowboy need to draft a bruiser running back. Yeah, that's the frustrating thing, David. I thought this last year's draft was the draft to get yourself a running back. I mean, David A-Chain went in the 3rd round. That's all you need to know about how deep this draft was. I mean, that was me and Phil were shocked that they didn't take him back. So
thank you, Brad.
But it makes more sense this year because Pollard won't be back unless, I'm pretty much saying he's not coming back. So
I don't think so either. But unless something's there, unless some kind of contract there is reasonable. But you never know sometimes with the Joneses. Let's go ahead and switch gears and go on to the defensive side of the ball because I think the defense is kind of being forgotten about in this game. Even though, you look at a 17-point game and you go, okay, well, it looks like the defense kind of just gave it up. Well, that one drive, I'll give it to them in the sense that that was the drive that we thought was going to happen at some point, that they were going to be able to just put at least one drive together and get into the end zone. And that's kind of what you saw in the open of that 3rd quarter. And that's worried me a little bit going in as Dan Quinn's defenses. There always seems to be that second half, right before the half ends, and then, of course, right before right when the 3rd quarter's beginning is something seems to happen there. And if we can get over that hump a lot of the times, it's a pretty smooth sailing for the rest of the way. But the teams that we tend to struggle with, those are when they kind of make their scores. When I look at the defensive line for this, I mean, these guys, they were sharing sacks. I think the only one that didn't come up with one was Parsons. And, his attitude kind of changes when that happens. I don't blame him. Everybody wants to get their stats. But, hey, man, you're getting a lot of success throughout the team because he's having to take on. People are more worried about him. So, you got Armstrong getting a sack, Williams, you got, so everybody's kind of getting involved. How did you feel that the defensive line played, against, let's be real, mediocre offensive line?
Yeah, listen, but again, it was a good performance. We can't crap on the performance, like a lot of the trolls want to do. It is what it is. You play who's on your schedule. The Eagles have amassed an 8-1 record, mainly of chumps. Not all chumps. They beat Miami, but I'm just saying, it is what it is. I thought they played good. Mozzie, I didn't see Mark's video. I just, I've been running around, but I did see a headline. I get the alert saying that he was the highest graded interior lineman. I find that hard to believe.
Probably because it was limited.
That's why that whole Pro Football Focus, you got to take it for what it is. They look at certain things, and sometimes it's no-name guys that are the highest rated, but that's because they played maybe 8 plays or something.
Compared to other guys that are playing like 30,
did
40.
well, and they use the analytics. This is all you need to know about the defense. Dallas gave up 172 total yards for the game. That's. And now, just remember how much they gave up on that last drive alone.
Oh, he's their highest rated.
They literally were like 66 for the longest time. They were in the 60s, like how much yards they were giving up. That last drive is what they got a lot of those yards. You know how many yards Dallas had? Dallas had 640 team yards. That's bad. Good for us, bad for them. Very, very impressive on what we did on our offense, but our defense was just as impressive, led by Deron Bland.
Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and make the transition to the secondary. I mean, that was amazing to watch. I mean, even when he came down with that interception, I was like, okay, just when I least expected, he gets the interception, and then Wanye Thomas gets a chance to get it in. He gets in there finally. I'm like, all right, Wanye's in there, and he immediately gets his hands on a ball, which is what he does when he is in the game. That's why I fight for him to be inside, playing somewhere, man. You can't tell me with all these guys moving around and getting tired, running in and running out, that you can't get them on the field. So I hope to see a little bit more of that. He's just got to come down with that catch, especially with the situation. You turn the ball over, all of a sudden they get it. They're going to go ahead and try to go to the end zone. Boom, you take it away. You got to finish that play. And, of course, obviously he'd be the first to tell you that he just needs to get down and do some push-ups, as Skywalker Steel says. And I like that. I was like, yeah, where was his push-ups on that one?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So anybody else in the secondary that stood out to you in this game?
In the secondary, who stood out? I'm going over some of the names here. I wouldn't say anybody I mean, I love me some Marquise Bell. He didn't have that highlight play this week, but in the secondary, I thought we were steady Eddie. I wanted to get to a linebacker who I thought. I wanted to get to a linebacker who I thought stepped up and seems to be coming out. Is Damone Clark? It looks like, from what I could tell,
waking up.
Yeah, he had a good game.
He's
getting more. Listen, he's relatively young. So, but I was just real quick. I'm looking at the sacks. Micah didn't get a sack.
Nope. And so that's why he
did not get a sack.
Yeah, he was. That's why he was a little salty. You could tell he was upset. And I get it. The competitor in him, he wants to be the best. But you gotta find that balance, man. You gotta find the balance between your success and the team's success, and then not looking all pissed off because you didn't get yours. It's just. And I say that, but I definitely would love to see him get his on in the sacks category. But man, it doesn't always happen that way.
Don't get me wrong; he's getting the
pressure.
Double team.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Other guys, you have to trust. Yeah, but it all comes down to he's trying to get the mega deal, and that's what happens in deals. They want to pull out the stats, but because what you're doing, guys like Dorrance Armstrong had a sack. Neville Gallimore had a sack.
Neville Gallimore had a sack, and then a kick to the crotch. But we'll take the sack.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, every once in a while, that's what you got to do. Sam Williams had another sack this week, and D. Law got a sack. So we had 5 sacks for the game. We didn't give up a sack. So that's where, like Phil says, our offensive line, it actually played well, and you saw us have running lanes. I know it was against the Giants. I get it.
Yeah.
But we didn't just beat the Giants. We annihilated. I laid out the numbers. It was bad, people.
I get it, man, but you don't get to pick the schedule. You just got to beat the teams in front of you. And who did we lose to? We lost to nobody either. So, I mean, other than losing to Philly, we lose to San Francisco. We lost to Arizona. Arizona was a nobody. So
I agree, Mark.
I get it, though.
Mark with that. I mean, my only thing is I don't have a problem. But when you start... When everybody starts talking MVP for our quarterback, now I have to bring up, okay, well, we have 3 losses. Let's just slow down, please. I hope Dak can keep this up, because if he does, he's going to win the Super Bowl MVP.
When I look at
if he plays like he did yesterday, it's going to be good. But
when I look at those games, like, oh, who have we beat? Okay, I'm gonna put it aside, because when you're playing the Jets, it's an Aaron Rodgers-less Jets. So obviously, that should be a little bit more. We've had problems with the Jets team. But when we played them, that was a top defense, and you put up 30 points on that defense. So, yeah, I mean, I have to say that's pretty impressive. Forget about the victory itself. There's been times where they've laid the eggs where, of course, the Cardinals, you look at the 49ers game, but the Chargers, I mean, that was a close game, but they still got that. The Rams, you don't know which Rams team is going to come out and play. That defense, I still think the defensive line is pretty worthy. And so, yeah, but I totally get what Mark is saying. I mean, yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot of like victories that you can hang your hat on. But at the same time, you're beating the teams that you need to. And it's not just beating them by 3 points. You're beating them by 20-plus points at times. And so that means something. Yes, you beat a little crappy team that probably would lose to a college team. But, hey, you did it in style.
Murphy?
You did it in style.
Porter Rock, what up?
Yeah, but you say
Just
dink
talking
and Dak,
to
but
people.
these have been big, huge plays. So it hasn't been any dinks and dunks and stuff. This isn't, that's what they try to.
Listen, I'm not crapping on it, but when somebody says that we have not had a I would say this. What's our signature win? I think Phil said it. Us beating the Chargers. Well, the Chargers aren't that great. I mean, they could score. They blew another game.
Well, they scored, what, 30-something points on Detroit. I mean, they only scored 17.
Yeah.
So you got to take those little things like that. But, yeah, I mean, it wasn't an impressive win, but still a win that you pulled out.
No,
so.
yeah, I mean, I get it, but I'm saying if you're picking out a game. Oh, wait, I know which one it was.
What's up, Puerto Rock? Holy cow.
It was San Francisco 49er game.
Rondo.
Oh, wait, we got absolutely freaking annihilated in it. Oh, yeah. I know which game it was. We went to Arizona. We could never beat Arizona. Depleted team, and we took care of business. That's kind of a signature. Oh, wait, we lost that one. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, the Eagle game. We went to Philly, and we beat them on their field to shut up. Oh, no, we didn't win that one either. So, no, we haven't really had a signature win in my book. Looking at the schedule, New England was good, but now New England stinks.
Yep.
Niners, we lost 42-10. Chargers, we only scored 20 points. You just outlined that Detroit went off on them, but I mean, a win's a win. I love it. The Rams, don't get me wrong. Other than the Chargers win, we're blowing people out. We're blowing. I mean, 40-0, 30-10, 38-3, 20-17 against the Chargers in our signature win. 43-20. We lost 28-23. 49-17. So that signature win is on the horizon, in my opinion, Mark.
Yeah, and it won't be till later. I mean, let's be real, because the Panthers, even if you win, it's one of those you can't win for.
Exactly, North Nova, not apologize.
And so you got the Panthers, the Commanders, Seahawks. They're not going to.
I agree,
but it's that last stretch. You got the Eagles, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Lions. That's going to be a stretch that I'm very interested to see how this team does.
I'm not trying to be a hater, people. This is my team, but I just want to warn you that we have rough waters ahead, and
that's true, Coyote.
If my
very
quarterback
true.
is MVP, he's going to get us through these waters unscathed. That's just how it's going to be. So, but we got to just look at the next 4 games. Right, like I told everybody.
Well, let's be real. We gotta look at the next game, just the next game. I mean, yeah, you can look ahead and go this and that and whatever, but the next game is Carolina, and as long as they keep looking, and as long as they keep focused, yes, I would believe that as well too.
I would think that I would agree with you. We need to worry about every game, but the Commanders are my next reel. I'm already doing some work.
The excuse for losing those 3 was Dallas doing more.
Get him, Mark Hutchin. Get him.
Was Dak doing things that he was doing now? Like the offense is not the same. Like I get it. In Philly he had to do that. You lost that one in general. But those ones, that they lost, there was no identity to this offense, man. Let's be real. Like there wasn't.
Coyote, exactly.
There was nothing at all. I mean, when we look at the running game, God, that was just a joke. The passing, I don't even know. The penalties are still there. Let's not forget that, man. The penalties, when we look at it, we still had 8 or so penalties for like 90-something yards. That's a big thing. I mean, you don't notice it as much because you're blowing a team out, but that's a problem. And some of it is
close game. They come back to bite you.
And some of those are pre-snap stuff. So that is, to me, that even says you're just not disciplined when it comes to some of this stuff. And it has nothing to do. You just sit your butt down until you see the ball move as an offensive wide receiver. And then the flags for holding, again, there's holding on every play for every single team. So it chooses whether the ref thinks it's really bad holding or if it's just a regular holding.
Yeah.
And that's true, Brad Harris. He says refs are never held accountable. They won't be. Oh, they don't get to. They don't get to.
Supposedly are graded.
Yeah, we don't get to go and rep the playoff. You're like, get out of here with that, man.
And they're not allowed to partake in the Super Bowl or the playoffs if you're not any good. So, but just remember, in the NFL's eyes, good is calling penalties because scoring has been down. And they want scoring that go as high as they can because chicks dig the long ball. Everybody wants to watch a high-scoring game, so they're gonna keep calling them penalties, and I think it sucks. Just my opinion. But
when I look at this game in general, I'm very happy of what this Cowboys team was going to do. Because if they would have struggled and barely beat this New York team, what kind of conversation would we be having right now? And you got to beat the teams that are in front of you, and if they're the team that's that bad, you have to beat them badly. And that's exactly what happened. So I give them kudos. They did a great job, great game plan. Dak played a great game. Mike McCarthy actually coached a good game. The running game, questionable at times, but still got going after a little bit once the pass started going. Again, Bryan has said that many times.
Up, Dallas
this pass has to get going in order for the running game to get going as well, because it starts to spread out that defense. They're not stacked all in there.
Yeah, definitely. Our running game was nice to see, I tell you, but I think a lot of it had to do with, well, we were running pretty much, but I think a lot of it had to do with come out, throw the ball. Dak was just on fire. I mean, he came out and said, Phil, that he meant to throw the one ball away that CD came back for. That's. Everything's clicking, but that's good. That means they've unlocked something. They're on the same wavelength. Now you see Dak throwing it in an area of the end zone that Michael Gallup actually showed up. It's amazing how good Gallup looks when you start playing Tolbert and Jalen Brooks. Now all of a sudden you're holding on to them balls, right, Phil? It's just crazy to me. That's what you need. There's nothing wrong with playing young football players. The NFL is a young players game. I mean, if you can have young guys who are good, get them in the game. It's just going to help.
I mean, if you watched earlier, you would notice we were right there with what we were saying. I'm interested to see how you guys take on the Giants. It's like the last time you guys played, it wasn't that pretty. So I mean, I'm interested to see how you guys haven't played them this year, right? I don't think you have. I think it's December that you guys actually play them on Christmas.
I would say last year's schedule, though, for the Eagles was ridiculously easy. Yeah. Our schedule's harder than that was last year. But
so, again, I mean, that's what we'll give you, is that it was easy. You beat the game.
Shout out to you, like you said.
Yeah, when they let's just say when they do the number one seed for the playoffs, they don't look at, oh, well, you played this team. And no, they just look at your record, man.
I'm hammering them for their, you say we don't have a signature win. How much more do you want out of me, my man? I'm just saying. They're blowing people out, but I agree. It's not against a tough team. But again, we're going to see, like Phil says. We ain't going to see this week because if we lose, we deserve everything we get. So I don't expect that. Washington, I mean, we're going to be a favorite. It's a divisional. Washington is hanging close. Hey, Hamid. Washington should have won both of the games against you if they had any clue of what they were doing. The first game, they should have won for 2 and ended it. And the second game, they didn't review the blatant drop, right, Phil? So, I mean, you've struggled with Washington. You won them both, but by the skin of your chinny chin. But Seattle will be a good win.
It's if you're going to do that and against a rival team, and then we're playing the Chargers and we pull that off. I mean, there's got to be a give and take there as well. When I look at that, it's the Chargers are on the winning side of football right now.
True that.
And we pull out that victory, so I'm interested. Especially after the Chargers scored.
Cowboy Mafia. It never is. Never is a cakewalk.
I hope
for the most part.
I hope it isn't. But in Washington again, I said this 2 weeks.
I want a cakewalk.
Well, no, I'm saying I hope it's not a close game like he's saying.
I think it will be.
It might be because let's be real. I said this 2 weeks. I said this a week or so ago. Washington is playing better without these guys.
Yes, they are.
The Giants do suck. Yeah, they
Their secondary is tough. Their running defense is tough. I think at home we're definitely going to win the game, but I think it's a one-score game for a lot of the game. I don't see us blowing them out. I think we win by, we'll get to next week.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but that's Carolina.
Yeah, we got Carolina. This is what's going to happen. We need to stay focused on Carolina. If I can't stay focused, the players sure as heck can't stay focused. So now you got me worried, Phil. But anyway, it was a great win. Nothing to take away from this that you don't like. We got out healthy. The Cowboys said this is about as healthy as we've been all year. Love to hear it.
But we didn't have most of our starters in there, dude.
I feel bad for Leighton Vander Esch.
Yeah, I do too. I know this defense will be good.
We're real thin there.
Yeah,
real thin. I'll be curious to see what we do. We might end up having to pick somebody off of somebody's practice squad if we suffer anything else. Marquise Bell's doing a hell of a job, but let's face it,
I wonder how long he's
in the ass.
I wonder how long he's going
to
last there.
We'll see with this Rashad Evans. He had a lot better game this week, so hopefully they can't play that game anymore. So he'll probably be elevated to the 53. I'm guessing. You can't go. You can't send him back down to the practice squad. So we shall see, man. At least we're back into it. I'm
interested to see, like when we're talking about the Cowboys, the one part we haven't talked about is special teams. We didn't see any field goal kicking, but 7 for 7 on field goal, extra points. But one thing I do admit is that I like seeing Deuce back there as a backup, but man, we missed Turpin. Turpin definitely adds an excitement to this special teams, and he is a weapon. And even if it's not on the offense, having him on that special teams, man, that's because you feel that he could break it at any moment.
He has a rib issue, but he did finish that game. I think what they were doing, and I want to touch on this before we get out of here. Everybody was looking at, oh my God, we got 4 games in 18 days. Just remember that, people. 4 games in an 18-day span is a lot. 1 was last week. 2 is this week. Then you got Thanksgiving, and then the following Thursday. That's an 18-game. That's an 18-day span. That's a lot of football, but that's an opportunity. Opportunity to rack up 4 wins.
I think Turpin will be back this week.
And I thought we did that. I'm thinking they saved Turpin. Because of the quick turnaround, I expect to see him definitely by Thanksgiving. Maybe not this week.
Yeah, David Cowboy week.
Save him this week and bring him back for Thanksgiving week. But if he's ready, he's ready. Right?
Yeah, but you had that other. There was another linebacker as well, Jefferson or something. Malik Jefferson.
He's out of options too, though. So it's like anybody has to be on the 53 now. So I don't know. I don't have the 53 on me. I guess we have a corresponding move. We put 2 guys on season-ending IR, so I don't really know. I guess we've already filled their spot, I guess.
Yeah, Overshown. Yeah, Overshown is the one that I think of as well. Cowboy Micro brings him up. He loves to bring him up, which is, I do not blame him. But yeah, man, missing Overshown as well. There's LVE. There's guys there. I mean, again, this is a group that likes to use the safeties as linebackers. So I mean, yeah, you're not short, but then again, you're sharing that room with your safeties, So yeah, it's not fun, especially when you start having guys go down. But this is the season. This is what everybody talks about. They don't give you that excuse. You can try to use it, but they're like, yeah, injuries happen. And it, people are quick to say that until it's their team, and then they want to whip out that whole. Injuries, happen in the NFL.
Hamid. He's working that wrench. He's working that shit. He's working it. Work that wrench, baby. No, thanks, Hamid. God, that's funny.
What's up,
funny. Me and Phil were talking about the draft before we went live, and we got to get our act together. But we're talking about linebackers. That's another position, a sneaky position that we're gonna have to address. I think.
Looks like what's his name?
Care of East Side. Just remember that.
The one that we had last year. What was his name? The linebacker. The one that Mark was just. The Mark was just repping on.
He's in Philly. Anthony Barr.
Yeah, Anthony Barr. He actually got signed to the Vikings practice squad.
Did he?
Yeah.
So I guess Philly didn't want him.
Yeah, I guess not.
Shout out to the Vikings.
Yeah,
Shout out to the Vikings.
They definitely have their hope at least for until
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I will say. It's making that win look a little better. Josh Dobbs is. I'm playing Lord Nova. I was playing, but what was I gonna say?
You're talking about Josh Dobbs and Vikings.
No, I was talking about the linebacker. I was talking about
Marquise
Bell. That's what I want to talk about. Since I got some Eagle fans in here, there's a linebacker. I heard the guys talking about it today on the break. I didn't realize that Jeremiah Trotter's son is a big-time linebacker in college, and he'll be in the draft this year. Give me Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Wouldn't that be good? He's a big boy, too. Yeah, I'll have to look at the tape and stuff, but man, with you got all these sons coming out. How old are we getting, for crying out loud? With you got
Josh Dobbs,
Patrick Surtain's, his son. You got, all
Marvin
these kids.
Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Larry Allen
Marvin
Jr.
Harrison Jr.
Now that,
yeah.
Larry, that wasn't as good, but Marvin Harrison Jr. That one's a big one.
Look for him to be with the Giants next year. That's a perfect fit. But I'm already getting. We got to let the season play out, but I'm already getting a little excited. Hopefully, we're drafting 32, right, everybody? Eagles haven't drafted a good corner since the early 2000s. Yeah, Philly D, do you believe a Jeremiah Trotter's a kid is in the draft this year? He's a stud too. Do you know who drafted Jeremiah Trotter, Philly D? Brian Broaddus. DMV, he doesn't really like Brian Broaddus. Broaddus was the one guy who in the room said he could play. You mean Jeremiah Trotter? Yeah, because he had the bum knee. Yeah, he could play it right. He made many Pro Bowls, and but I don't think a lot of people realize that like a Cowboys scout, also a guy who won a Super Bowl ring with the Green Bay Packers. He was with Green Bay. So Jeremiah Trotter's son is in the draft. I'll take him. We could use a linebacker.
I agree about 80.
Star on his helmet.
I agree with about 87% of the stuff that Brian goes with. There's that part where I'm like, okay, all right, I'll give it to you that you were.
Well, that's good. I think 87 is a high number.
It is. I mean, there's a lot of stuff he's talking about. Yep. No. Okay. It's pretty. It's
Fuck
pretty
that.
up there.
Nah, I'm out.
But Brian. Again, as much as it is. They're not going to be picking at the back of the draft. They're going to be picking at the top of the draft when it comes to the New York Giants. It wasn't the best competition in the league, but they handled their business. And yes, they had to take on a backup quarterback. Oh no, a third string quarterback. So these are the things that I say. I mean, you handled the business that was in front of you, and you put pressure on the offensive line that lost Thomas at some point. But your defense played well. You got to get other people involved. The fourth quarter, think about that. That offense and what Dak was doing was all up into the third quarter. That fourth quarter, when the backups start coming in, that's what I was big on. I just wanted people to get some experience. You got to see some stuff that people were wanting Izzy to come back, and I totally get that. But Izzy got blown away with that touchdown. So there's a reason why these guys are it, but they need to be out there. And if you're blowing teams away, this is the time to get in there. And again. I didn't like how the backup offense looked the first drive, but that second drive they looked really good when they seemed to get it under control. We need a tough linebacker. Yeah, Fred, he would never play for us because
that's why I was just saying Trotter. But I know I'm going off. And I heard people say we need offensive linemen. Yeah.
Offensive line is my main thing. Yeah. Offensive line, a big bruising back, a linebacker. I mean.
I know. It gets exciting when you start to think about it.
It does.
Listen, it is what it is. But Mark Hudson says trade Trey Lance to the Giants for some picks. We can get a number 2 pick. I don't know that they're gonna. I mean, they could have had him for a 4, and they didn't offer that. I was just getting ready to bring up Trey Lance. It's funny you said that, Mark Hudson. Why not make Trey Lance number 2 this week? I mean, we know what we got in Cooper Rush, right? He's like your always backup. He's your steady Eddie guy who won't lose you the game, won't necessarily win you the game.
Yeah.
Not that he can't win a game, but at what point do we elevate Trey Lance
next year?
And that way in a blowout we can get him some work.
Yeah, I just think you'll start seeing him. He's in there, and it's nice because he can see the plays being adjusted as they go. Oh, this isn't working. This is how we're adjusting. So he gets to be there as they're making this decision, which you can't replicate at practice. Let's be real. So the fact that he gets to be there is amazing, but I don't see that transitioning happening until this offseason, or unless something bad happens to Cooper Rush at some point in practice or that. So I would love to see him in there and see the offense, but I'm afraid that if you throw him in there, it's not going to be good because he's still coming off a time where he was struggling in San Francisco, and let's be real, man, that offense was definitely made to help the quarterback look good, and so I'm interested to see with a different offense that's more catered to what his abilities are. I am interested, but again, I don't think you'll see anything until the offseason. So, Bryan, anything you want to say about this game before we move on and we just focus on the Carolina Panthers?
I would say take the win. A win is a win in the NFL. We got out healthy. We blew out yet another team. That's all you could ask for. It was great. Our offense, I think the most important thing is our offense seems to be coming around with, albeit against a bad team, that we scored 49 points, people. I mean, that's still impressive. But we have a stretch coming up that I'm looking forward to. Everybody's looking at this stretch like, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Because we're going to know. We're going to know before we get to the
Cowboys.
playoffs what we're made of. Okay? We're not raw. If we get to the playoffs and we do what we got to do, we're going to have won against some good teams. And the most exciting, I mean, I rattled off the next few. But after the Eagle game, it's at Buffalo, at Miami, right? But to me, the most important game, if we do what we could do, win through Philly, split in either the Buffalo and Miami, it all comes down to that Detroit Lion game at home. It very well may be to knock them down a peg, maybe a tiebreaker situation.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. I love the teams that are playing down the stretch. It's gonna toughen our team up, or we're gonna fold, and we're gonna know we're all gonna watch it together. This game was a good way to start this stretch for me. Hell of a win. Hell of a win.
I would definitely agree. I like the strategy that's being put in place. Bryan talked about it earlier on his video, where the fact that McCarthy, it takes him a couple of times, being pushed in your face. Why isn't this working? That he's going, hey, and then the next following week he does what he just got done told, like it was his idea or something. But I'll take it. I don't care what it is. He's not a stubborn coach where he's like, no, it's either my way or the highway. And I like that culture part of it. I mean, this is the same thing I keep saying. There's some clock management stuff, and there's things that he does that I question, but man, I definitely like the culture that he's brought to this team. And of course, the defense is complementing the offense. The offense complementing the defense. I don't know which way you want to put it, but they both look good. I mean, even with the loss that they had more recently, it still was an impressive team that was out there. At least you felt, hey, we have a chance of winning this game. And so that moving forward, I'm hoping that continues, because I can look back into the losses that we had. I did not have those feelings going forward. I was like, the next time we play this team, I'm not going to feel confident in this team. Man, it's amazing what football will do when you're playing a weaker opponent. So, again, guys, I appreciate you guys coming through, even though it was a weaker opponent. And, the rivalry is revving up still, man. anytime I see a Cowboy talking on Twitter or I see an Eagle talking on Twitter, there is a Cowboy or Eagle right behind saying you are wrong, this is right, and so the fire is there, man, and that's what it is. Both teams are a threat to all the other teams, and yeah, we talk to each other because we see each other twice a year. But I love it, man. We're in football. We're right in the middle of the season. We mean something. We have significance to the season, and we're not just throwing it away like a lot of teams are already starting to do. So, again, guys, I appreciate you coming through. Let us know on the comments of what you thought. Please like, share, subscribe, anything that you can to help support the channel. But one thing I appreciate you not forgetting to do is doing what?
Always ring that bell, people.
Thanks, guys.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do? You're like a little screw loose type of guy, and that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
Gametime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, Gametime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.